YouTube. Welcome back to the stream. We're here live again. 14 days until the USA election. Drop down below who you're going to be voting for, or if you really care, or just drop your opinions about the US election down below. And let me see some Kamala Harris comments, because I haven't really been getting any Kamala Harris comments. Yeah, sorry about that. That's a little bit of echo in the background. And if you hear anything in the background, yeah, like I said before, I live in downtown, so you might hear something. But yeah, I'm also right near a window in my living room. But yeah, let's get into today's podcast episodes. I'm going to be showing some polling results, some different stuff about the election, and we'll see we'll see what you guys think. I really appreciate the support lately, but I could use a little bit of support. I'm trying to break the live streaming record I have going on right now, which is about like 250 views. So let's see if we can get that. And yeah, let me know who you guys want to win the election down below. We're going to get into this video today. Trump grabs the mic and destroys an arrogant CNN reporter. The crowd goes crazy. But don't worry, we get some good Harris clips as well. I wouldn't consider them good in my opinion. I don't really think that she's a good speaker. It would be hard for me to give an example of I won't even say it. Yeah, but I don't think she's a good speaker. But we're going to get into this video. Then we're going to show some Kamala Harris clips. We're going to show some Trump clips. Like, if she had a YouTube, I don't think anyone would subscribe to it, because I don't think she's a good person to talk, or I don't think she's a good communicator really. But yeah, let's see what Trump does. This went viral. I'm not showing this to be a Trump fanboy or anything. I think you guys already know who I'm voting for, but this video came out. Yeah, it came out yesterday, and it has almost 3 million views with a small channel, so let's check it out. Sorry, let me put the volume on. Actually, give me 1 second. Technical difficulties, guys. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore.
And even Democrat senators say, I can't believe it. They didn't raid the house of Joe Biden. They didn't raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like
Joe
you
Biden
did. And
took
so that's the question.
1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators.
Oh yeah, big thing we're talking about here is January 6th. I mean, I talked about it, and I'm not sure what live stream, honestly, and what day it was, but Jan 6 was not even half, not even 1/10 of as bad as some of the riots and stuff that go on in the USA, especially the Black Lives Matter with George Floyd, where they tore down and destroyed Minnesota. I mean, I already showed that live on stream. I'm not going to show it again on stream. If you guys want to check that out, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 streams ago. You can go through and find it. But yeah, that's what they're talking about. Let's talk about Jan 6th. And also, I don't think you could consider inciting a riot, because you're going to see all the information. He never said go out and cause violence at the Capitol building. You're going to see all his tweets read by read. So if you know something I don't know, or if you think that he did incite Jan 6, or you think that he caused some kind of riot at a Capitol building, then please explain to me specifically right now in the comment section how, because according to all his tweets and everything that the reporters say, even on CNN here, there's nothing that really he didn't really say anything. He didn't do anything really. He didn't say anything. We'll just break it down for you guys better in this video.
I think is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple you're a nasty person, I'll tell you. If you look at what's gone to our country has gone to hell. Our borders are bad. Our military has been bad. You look at the taxes, you look at inflation, what's happened to inflation, it's just destroying our country. We've really become, in many ways,
really, who cares about any other presidency policy other than prices? And we all agree that prices were cheaper under Trump.
We were energy independent. Now energy is at a level that we've never had to pay before. Nobody can afford to continue to pay what's happening with energy. but we were energy independent. We were getting out of Afghanistan with strength and with dignity, and instead we got out, we looked like fools, probably the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. One of the big problems was that Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy as I affectionately call her, Crazy Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington were in charge, as you know, of security, and they did not do their job.
They're not in charge of the National Guard. You're in charge of that.
They are in charge. Well, I offered them National Guard. I said, we'll give you soldiers, we'll give you National Guard, we'll give you whatever you want. And they turned me down.
And in fact,
she turned me down. She turned me down in writing.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol.
Yeah, see, he said to come to Washington. I guess that's where people say that he incited violence. But saying to come to Washington or to do a peaceful protest, that's not inciting violence. And second off, people do peaceful protests and call for people to do marches all the time. He's not responsible for these individuals' actions. And second off, if you want to personally ask me like about the damages on Jan 6th, I know people died and a lot of damage is done. But really, if you get a group of 10 men that are really trying to cause some destruction, those 10 men with weapons and artillery, they're going to cause more destruction than the riot. Even 5 men would cause more destruction if they're actually trying to do something. But
smashing windows, injuring police officers. Why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
Definitely tragic. Oh, it's a commercial. Come on, guys. We don't like those commercials. Will Kamala Harris win? We'll get into the polling results after this video, because I can't wait for her to win.
On January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look, January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
But you didn't report that. You know why? Because it was
taken down. We did report it. I was reporting the thing.
It was taken down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear to you that they were not being peaceful, you saw them rushing the Capitol, breaking windows. They were hitting officers with flagpoles, tasing them, beating them up. When it was clear they weren't being peaceful, why did you wait 3 hours to tell them to leave the Capitol? They listen to you like no one else. You know that.
They do. I agree with that. But
so why didn't you tell them to go sooner?
Nancy Pelosi and the mayor are in charge. I assume they were able to do their job. They weren't.
But Pelosi's not in charge of Capitol
security. And if you remember, I made a video right outside the Oval Office in the Rose Garden. And I'm very proud of that video. I didn't have a script. I don't need scripts like a certain person that's in there.
What time the video? It came out much later after they had already attacked the Capitol. Going back to your influence, in that 3 hours, over 140 officers were injured that day.
And a person named Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her, and she was a good person. She was a patriot. There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
The officer was not bragging about the fact that he killed her, but
bragging.
one person.
Will you pardon the January 6th rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But, you know, when you look at Antifa, what they've done to Portland, and if you look at Antifa, look at what they've done to Minneapolis and so many other places. Look at what they did to Seattle and BLM. Many people were killed. These people, I'm not trying to justify anything. But you have two standards of justice in this country, and what they've done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing. And then what they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did a very...
Natural como la fruta misma, naked.
See, it's not some crazy radical idea that he's gonna free some people that didn't really do too much of a crime. Everyone's clapping. If that's crazy, then why is everyone clapping?
And it'll be very early on. And they're living in hell right now.
So when it comes
they're
to
living
pardons,
in hell. And they're policemen, and they're firemen, and they're soldiers, and they're carpenters and electricians, and they're great people. Many of them are just great people.
Mr. President, one of the people who was convicted was a former policeman, but he was convicted of attacking a police officer, I should note. But when you said you are considering pardoning a large portion of those charged with crimes on January 6th, does that include the 4 Proud Boys members who were charged and convicted of seditious conspiracy?
I don't know. I'd have to look at their case, but I will say in Washington, D.C., you cannot get a fair trial. You cannot. Just like in New York City, you can't get a fair trial either. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African American. Called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things but with her, they could put in anything. Access,
this
Hollywood.
This was a jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I think the whole thing, just so you understand, ready? I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. This woman said, I met her at the front door of Bergdorf Goodman, which I rarely go into other than for a couple of charities. I met her in the front door. She was about 60 years old, and this is like 22, 23 years ago. I met her in the front door of Bergdorf Goodman. I was immediately attracted to her, and she was immediately attracted to me. And we had this great chemistry. We're walking into a crowded department store. We had this great chemistry, and a few minutes later, we end up in a room, a dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman, right near the cash register. And then she found out there were locks on the door, so she said, I found one that was open. She found one. She learned this at trial. She found one that was open. What kind of a woman meets somebody and brings them up, and within minutes, you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President,
what is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill. When we have a debt limit, and they use that very seriously with me, Schumer came in with Nancy Pelosi, and they were using, we'll violate it, we'll do whatever.
What do you guys think, Trump or Kamala? After watching this, I'm kind of thinking Kamala Harris. Yeah, she's going to get my vote.
Massive cuts.
For
You're
sure.
going to have to do a default. And I don't believe they're going to do a default, because I think the Democrats will absolutely cave, because you don't want to have that happen. But it's better than what we're doing right now, because we're spending money like drunken sailors.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you think the U.S. should default if the White House does not agree to the spending cuts Republicans are demanding?
You might as well do it now, because you'll do it later. Because we have to save this country. Our country is dying. Our country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the Oval Office.
That's when I was president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president. We have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger. It's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
Mr. President, you dealt with a lot of mass shootings when you were in office. This year, there have already been more than 200 mass shootings in 2023. If you are reelected, are there any new gun restrictions that you would sign into law?
I would do numerous things. For instance, schools, we would harden, very much harden. And I'm a very believer. I believe in teachers. I love teachers. I think they're incredible. And they love the children, not quite like the parents, but they love the children in many cases almost as much. Many of these teachers are soldiers, ex-soldiers, ex-policemen. They're people that really understand weapons. And you don't need 5% of the teachers would be more than you could ever have if you're going to hire security guards. But in addition to that, have security guards, you have to harden your entrances. You have to make schools safe. And you can make other places safe. But it is a big mental health problem in this country more than anything else.
If you made it this far into the video, hit the like and subscribe button. I don't know how much longer we're gonna stream for, but hopefully we can get the views up. Like I said this before, we had 250 views on one of our recent streams. I'm trying to get it to like 500 or 1,000. So if you can share the stream so we can get our presidential candidate in the White House, it would be much appreciated. That's going to do a lot more than a single vote for. So before you're thinking, oh, I'm going to vote already, why do I need to share this video? It's about the outreach. We need the support. The more you share it, the better we're going to get the man in presidency.
If you look at Chicago, Chicago has the single toughest gun policies.
Or if you hate me and you don't want Trump as president, then share this video to show how goofy and bad he is.
Also, all of those places are the worst and most dangerous places. So that's not the answer. I consider the other side to be radical because the other side, under Roe v. Wade and other things, the other side, they're radical because they will. Remember the debate with Hillary Clinton? They said, rip the baby out of the womb at the end of the 9th month. They will kill the baby in the 9th month. If you look at that crazy governor of Virginia from the former governor, where he said, no, the baby will be born, and then we'll decide essentially whether or not to execute the baby.
But Mr. President, can we talk about what you would do if
these are the radical people. It's not the pro-life people that are radical.
But if you are reelected and you're...
People that will kill a baby in the 9th month or the 8th month or the 7th month or after the baby is born, they're the radicals, not the pro-life
I just want to
people.
give you...
You're going to have millions of people pouring into our country right now at a level that nobody's ever seen before. These people are sick. Anybody that wants this to happen to our country, they're destroying our country, and this should not be allowed to happen. How they're not going to do a version of Title 42 or my Title 42, which was tough. If people are sick and have infectious diseases and lots of other problems, we don't want them being into our country. We have enough problems right now. We have problems like we've never had in the history of our country.
But Mr. President,
that's right. The number one thing we need to focus on is economy and getting money and staying out of war, because these are the number one things. Do you want to get killed and die broke? If you do, then focus on stuff like stupid rights that people already have, and we have human rights and stuff like that. We don't need to put so much focus. We need to focus on the world, not on climate change, because the water is only going up a little bit. We're only getting a tiny micro amount of climate change a year that they're talking about. So we need to focus on us, because you know what's worse than climate change? A nuclear war. That's going to cause the oceans to rise a lot more than the current gasoline V8 trucks.
They go down 7 feet into the ground. If there was a little piece of...
All right, I already saw this, so let's see if I can go to the next thing.
This video was brought to you by Brilliant.
I'll show you the polls.
For at least the past month or so, the polls in the US election have been essentially neck and neck. While Harris has always enjoyed a slight lead at the national level, her implied odds of winning the Electoral College have basically hovered around 50% since the debate, and neither candidate has really been able to break the deadlock, despite some pretty unorthodox media strategies. However, with just a couple of weeks to go until Election Day, certain corners of the Republican commentariat have been made giddy by Trump's recent improvement in the polls and on certain predictions.
Let's see, on certain predictions.
Polling market.
Polling
so
market.
In this video, we're going to take a look at Trump's recent poll surge, how dramatic it's actually been, and what it means for the election. Before we start, if you haven't... and therefore on track to win an enormous majority in the election head in the national vote, and therefore on track. For instance, got very excited a few weeks ago when an Atlas Intel poll came out saying that Trump was 3 points ahead in the national vote, and therefore on track to win an enormous majority in the Electoral College. Similarly, Democrats have been enthused by 2 New York Times Siena polls showing Harris up 4 points in the all-important swing state of Pennsylvania. However, it's generally not a good idea to focus on individual polls. Rather, the thing you want to be paying attention to are the poll aggregators, because they balance out anomalous results and are generally far more reliable than individual pollsters. And when we look at these, the movement in the polls looks a lot less dramatic than commentators sometimes make out. According to Nate Silver's aggregator, for instance, Harris currently enjoys a 2.3-point lead at the national level, and the 2 candidates are basically equally likely to win the Electoral College, although Trump now has the teensiest of edges.
The teensy of
the
edges,
Times
that's 53 to 46%.
Poll aggregator currently gives Harris a 2.3-point lead, while The Economist has it at 2.2. Nonetheless, as you can probably see, even though all of these aggregators still give Harris a slight lead on the national level, they all also suggest that there's been at least a bit of movement towards Trump in the past week or so. According to Silver's forecast, for instance, Harris's national lead has been cut 0.7 points in the past week and is down roughly a point since early October. This has meant she's gone from the slight favourite in the Electoral College to the slight underdog. Now, this is in part because Trump's national poll improvements have been driven by improvements in swing states, especially the so-called blue wall of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. In the past month, Trump has gained roughly a point in all of these states, and Silver's aggregator now gives him basically a 50% chance of winning any of them, although Harris is still the slight favorite. However, much to the Republicans' delight, there has been a more dramatic swing towards Trump on the prediction.
That's really close. They're saying it's really close. I don't trust elections that say they're really close.
Forecast on upcoming events. These sites then aggregate these individual forecasts to give an overall probability.
All the polls I've been seeing are saying that Trump is way ahead, but I don't believe that because last time they said he was going to win.
This is usually because opinion polls only tell you the public's opinion at a single moment. So if there's reason to think that public opinion will shift in the future, prediction markets can better account for this. To give concrete examples, candidates usually get a bump in the polls after their convention, which quickly subsides. This will usually show up in poll aggregators, but because forecasters probably know that this is just a bounce, it doesn't normally show up on the prediction markets. Anyway, the most popular prediction market in the US at the moment is Polymarket, a crypto-based betting market. And here, there's been a remarkable swing towards Trump, who's apparently gone from being the slight underdog to now having a 60% chance of winning the Electoral College, and on track to win every swing state.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from most
might have a slight Trump
betting and poll systems, not even just them, multiple, that Trump has 60% chance of winning at least.
Trump than your median voter. And there's also some data suggesting that Trump's odds have been manipulated by a handful of pro-Trump whales, individually betting millions of dollars on him to boost his odds. Polymarket's defenders would argue that these biases will be corrected by profit-seeking players betting more on Harris to account for it. But it's at least true that Polymarket is more pro-Trump than other non-crypto prediction markets like Predictit or Metaculus, which have it closer to 50-50. Anyway, even if we don't trust Polymarket, it's at least true that other pollsters and prediction markets still say that Trump has gained in the past week or so. So why is this? Well, some Democrat commentators have claimed that this poll movement is mainly down to Republican pollsters flooding the aggregators with loads of pro-Trump polls as election day nears to give Trump a sense of momentum. And there's perhaps some truth in this, insofar as Republican-leaning pollsters have recently released an awful lot of polls. But even if you exclude these polls, you still see a similar movement towards Trump. VoteHub's aggregator, for instance, only uses highly rated non-partisan pollsters.
Yeah,
but
sure.
even here, Harris's lead has gone from 3.2 points in early October to just 2.2 today. So if it's not dodgy Republican pollsters, what else could it be? Well, the first thing to say is that this poll shift is way smaller than commentators have made out. And while Harris might have declined ever so slightly in the polls, the race has basically gone from being a toss-up to being a toss-up. Nonetheless, true to form, it's provoked a fair bit of anxiety amongst Democrats and inside Harris's campaign, where the working theory seems to be that whenever the news cycle is quiet, Trump ends up dominating the headlines and ticks up in the polls. This is why over the past week or so, Harris has suddenly started doing a whole lot more interviews and media appearances, including Alex Cooper's Call Her Daddy podcast and Howard Stern's show, as well as an interview with Fox News' Brett Bauer, the last two of which were clearly targeted at Trump-leaning swing voters. Now, only time will tell whether this new strategy actually works, but it'll be worth keeping an eye on the polls coming out in the next few days, where the field work would have been done during this media blitz. Now, what's something that the TLDR audience have in common? Well,
alright, we saw it, guys. I don't really believe this guy. In my opinion, he's voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. That's unfortunate. He wants tampons in men's bathrooms. Not even men, children's bathrooms. Male children. Alright, let's see if we can bear even 10 minutes of listening to VP Kamala Harris' conversation with Liz Cheney. Disgusting. Tampon Tim. Let's remember that men are especially good speakers, and that's a reason I think they've always been in politics. They're good entertainers and good speakers. I don't find anything about this entertaining, and the way she talks is like this with so much emotion. Like, I just don't like it. And also, she has her accents. Her fake southern accents.
I'm a mom, I'm a Mama G, I'm a businesswoman, and I'm a journalist. I was raised in a very prominent Democratic family.
Another way of
I
saying
married
she
a
was
Republican.
rich.
I served as a Democratic First Lady in a Republican administration in California, so I get this bipartisan thing. I've seen it up close. And now I'm a proud independent. But perhaps best of all for all of you, what I'm really proud of is to be the mother of a graduate of the University of Michigan. Go Blue!
This is their opening speaker.
Go Blue, that's right.
I'm bored.
Okay, that's okay.
Let's skip ahead. Anyone else more interesting?
I want to have it this
is like a Kennedy family kitchen table.
Yeah.
I can't hear it. Great job. Great advertising.
President Harris. And he tried to overturn it and seize power. And then he sat in his dining room and he watched the attack on television.
Yeah, well, no offense. I don't want... He watched it, you watched it, and you didn't call the National Guard or whatever. And also, I don't really want America ran by a bunch of, no offense to anyone, not trying to be sexist. I mean, there's a reason that all the presidents have been men already. They have a natural born leadership to lead.
Watched it. People...
I don't want her in, I don't know who this is, but just listening to her, I don't want her in government, much less on stage speaking.
Pleaded with him to tell the mob to leave, and he wouldn't. And he watched
law enforcement officers be brutally beaten. How is he going to tell the mob to leave? He didn't even...
He watched it. That's a depravity.
He's not in control of them.
To me, and you know, I think to anyone who's taken the oath of office, makes someone absolutely unfit ever to be president again. Now,
I think she's unfit to speak.
I could have just said, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to work against.
Let me show you how loony this lady is. Hold on. Imagine coming to like a public conference and you just have all this crazy looking, wacky, liberal looking jewelry on. Like all these little weird bracelets and bands that are made out of plastic in different rainbow colors. This weird Apple Watch right here. And I don't know, I don't like her outfit either.
And officers be brutally beaten. He watched it. That's a depravity that, to me, and you know, I think to anyone who's taken
This
the
is
oath
the
of office
depravity.
makes someone absolutely unfit ever to be president again. Now,
Yeah, well, you know what? You want to know why I think Kamala is unfit to ever be president again? Because she already failed as vice president, and Joe Biden admitted that she was in play with a lot of things that happened, and she admitted it as well. So yeah, she's unfit.
I could have.
Even if this was as bad as they say it is, even if it was as bad as they say it is, I mean, worse things have happened, like I already said, and it's not even as bad as they said it is. And also, we just need to get the world economy and stay out of World War III. If we go into World War III because of Kamala Harris, because obviously, we got to put this in account. I talked to a lot of people about this. Okay, Americans might respect a woman as a leader, but you got to think Russia, China, Iran, none of those, they don't respect a woman's opinion, much less a woman as a leader. If they see a presidential woman, they're going to laugh in their face. They're never going to take them seriously. You're talking about the most misogynistic, quote-unquote, cultures in the world. That it's a male-run society over there. It's not like the USA with all the weird liberal trans and women telling men what to do. I mean, it's not like that over there. Women don't tell them what to do over there and outside of America in general.
Just said, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to work against Donald Trump. And there are a lot of Republicans who have said that. I
No,
have
there
decided,
isn't. I
and
can't
I'm
think of
very
one.
proud and I'm honored to have made the decision to endorse Vice President Harris.
You're honored to cause World War III and for us to have the worst economy in American history. We have the worst economy in American history right now. And you think that if you say this or that, well, actually the stock market is actually propped up right now by 500, like by billion, no, not by 500 million, by billions and billions, if not trillions of dollars of borrowed and printed and fake and unpaid loans and stuff like that. That's how the economy is propped up right now. I can go into a whole video of it. But if that wasn't there, if they didn't pump like they pumped $500 billion into the economy to prop it up. If they didn't have that right before the election, yeah, the stock market and everything would be out of control. I mean, it is out of control when it comes to gas prices and inflation. And that's all under Kamala Harris. There's no way. If she wins, that just means people don't care about the poor anymore, because all the poor people are suffering. And Democrats even say, oh yeah, prices were cheaper under Trump. They are cheaper, but that doesn't mean that he's a better president. Yeah, well, I don't care about better or whatever that's supposed to mean. What does that even mean? I'm talking about we got to help the poor people and get the American economy back on track and stay out of World War III. That's what matters. And if you want that, that's the only thing we need to focus on this election. And you know who's going to do that? You know who has a plan to do that? You know who doesn't have a plan for the economy? These people.
She'll be. And I think all of us, it doesn't matter what party you're in, we all know this is a good and an honorable and a great nation. And we have to have leaders. You might say, I'm not going to agree on every issue, but we have to have leaders who take that seriously.
You do not.
Because it bears repeating, I have seen a lot of Republicans go up to Liz Cheney and thank her. And they may not be doing it publicly. They may not be
Is
doing it
that Dick Cheney's wife? Dick Cheney is a warlord. I'm not even going to go into that.
Post-January 6th,
That dude is a literal warlord.
An undercurrent that is
all he cares about is profit.
In terms of
honestly, I don't know who Liz Cheney is, but if that's Dick Cheney's wife, then that's horrible. I don't know how you can support her.
But I've seen Republicans come up to her, and from my vantage point, she's actually not alone.
And so I want to talk about that because there are a lot of people who...
She's not alone. She's less popular than like the least popular influencer. Like people that are influencers that are my age. This lady that I showed you isn't even half as popular as like a random dude that's online making video game content. No one knows who she is. I know she's not getting any support. Like you can't sit here and say, oh yeah, a lot of people come up to her and give her support. yeah, like maybe if you're like 70 or 80 years old, you don't do anything, or you're just like a fanboy or something. But no one that's 30 or 40 years old or 30 years old or 20 years old, I don't even know who this person is. Like, I'm sure a lot of people don't.
We're scared to vote for you, scared about the environment.
Yeah, I am scared to
scared
vote
to
for
talk
you.
about politics. How
I'm not scared of
scary
that.
was it for you personally to make this decision? What has been the personal...
Wait a second. I don't want to hear how scared you are. That's the last thing I want to hear from a presidential candidate, how scared you were. I don't think Trump was too scared when he survived getting shot. He just stood right up. He's like, all right, I want to keep on doing the speech. Nope, the Secret Service insisted to get him out of there.
Cost for you to do so?
It was not, it wasn't scary at all in terms of making this decision. Because when I look at...
Yeah, you're scared. You're all scared.
And
She's
don't
scared
think
and
it's
you're
a sick
scared.
sense of humor and relegate it to simply being that. You know, I've said many times, I do believe Donald Trump to be an unserious man, but the consequences of him ever being in the White House again are brutally serious. And
What's going to happen is, like, food inflation going to go to like 50, 70, 100%, and is it going to be like World War III, where we're at war with Ukraine, Israel, Palestine? Oh wait, no, that's right now. That's under the Kamala Harris Biden campaign. So what is going to happen? Please tell me what worse could happen.
take it from the people who know him best. His former chief of staff, when he was president, 2 former defense secretaries, his national security advisor, and of course his vice president, who have all in one way or another used the word that he is unfit to be president again and is dangerous. Listen to the report that what his former chairman of the...
She's extremely dangerous. Her father was actually a professor of Marxism, which is basically communism. So if you want someone with that kind of ideology that was raised and brought up under communism, then yeah, go out and vote for this.
Joint Chiefs of Staff, a general, said about him that he is fascist to the core. And these are people who were in his administration, who worked closely with him in the Oval Office and the Situation Room. And so I would caution us also to, because some people find it humorous what he says and think it's just silly, but
I'm bored. She can't even give any real talking points. All she does is say, look at what this person says, look at what this person says, look what happened on Twitter, Jan 6, this and that. Like, she can't say any actual valid talking points about policy plans. She can't say, oh, like, his economic plan sucks or his border policy sucks. She can't talk about anything bad about his policies. All she does is attack him personally, say his personality, he did this to this person, he got sued, he got arrested. All he says is this and that, like just talking about him personally, but not talking about how he really was as a president. That's enough for today. I appreciate you guys for joining on. I see I just got another viewer, but I mean, what else do I have to say about VP Kamala? Go out and vote for Kamala.
It is, well, the courts will take care of that. We'll take care of November. Yes. We'll take care of November. But it is brutally serious because to the Congresswoman's point, anyone who has openly said, as he has, that he would terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States.
Terminate the Constitution of the United States? Isn't that exactly what you want to do? You and Governor Newsom, you're both against free speech. You said multiple times that Twitter and other social media platforms should be censored just like Facebook should. You think freedom of speech should be censored. You think that people should give up their guns. You try to act like you're a gun owner, but then you said to give away the big guns and the rifles and other things. And you and Waz both try to act like you're gun supporters when neither of you can actually properly use them. And for Waz's case, that was definitely demonstrated in his hunting video. And you're literally against at least, 2 or 3 or 4 major constitutional rights. So how are you making the accusation that Trump wants to get rid of the Constitution? If anything, him and Elon Musk want to enhance the First and Second Amendment and really stick behind it, because it's been peeled back after peeled back. We're already losing our First and Second Amendments in the United States. We're already losing them. Why do we need to hear about that from someone that's trying to take them away? Say, oh, the Constitution, the Constitution. You're trying to end the Constitution. That's the most mind-blowing thing about this woman to me, is that she literally accuses Trump of everything that she's trying to do, and then she steals his policies and tries to act like it's her policies. And then I know for a fact she's not going to actually do any of the policies she stole. She'll just be like, oh, sorry, I changed my mind again. Like she changes her mind every 2 seconds. Alright, I know I have viewers in here, but I'm ending the stream. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. Share the video. I'm going to keep doing a stream every day. And yeah, I'm going on a trip this week. I'm going to stream there, and I'm going to stream in a few countries. And yeah, I'll take you guys with me. Hopefully everything goes well. Don't forget to go out and vote. We have 14 days left. This was a special stream. Hopefully I get my guest podcast friend that I wanted to put on here. I told you about it in the last podcast at the beginning. You can go check that out. Go check out my last 2 live stream / podcast things, because they're like an hour long each. So if you can go watch that, I'm trying to get the watch hours so I can monetize the channel. We have enough subscribers. We're getting a good amount of a little bit of watch hours now with the live videos. That's why I've been doing them a lot more. But we're still a long ways away from monetizing the channel, unfortunately. But the more you share it can help us, push the good energy, and also help us get a political candidate we want in office. Whoever you want, just send this video out and remind people to vote. Alright, that's it, guys. I'm gonna be logging out here in just a moment. Actually, we'll go for 4 more minutes. We have some viewers.
States. Never again.
So, Madam Vice President, I wanted to ask you, several people that I talked to in preparation for this, when I asked them, they said, well, I want to vote for the Vice President, but I just don't feel like I know her. I don't know enough about her. I see the ads, but I don't
I'm getting a lot of comments. I honestly should do a live stream and just viewing all the comments. They're all Trump comments. We need the Kamala Harris supporters. Where are the Harris supporters? Waz, Harris, comment. The Trumpies are killing us on YouTube. They're killing us.
How much time do we have?
We're at the kitchen
Trumpies
table.
are
I have
killing
lived
us.
a full life. I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a sister, I am a godmother. I
I'm a
love to
corrupt
cook.
politician. I convict people. I put
I
innocent
started
black
my
men
career
in
as a
prison.
prosecutor. In large part, there are many reasons, but one very fundamental
is to put people in prison.
when I was young, one of my best friends in high school I learned was being molested by her stepfather.
Okay, that's actually a good
And
reason to become a...
I told her when I learned she had
Kill
to live
those
with
types
us,
of people.
Talked to my mother about it. Of course she has to come live with us, and she did. And I decided I wanted to take on a career and a life that was about protecting the most vulnerable.
And that is why she put innocent black men in prison. But shout out to her if she locked up some of those pedos. Those people are disgusting human beings. But yeah, I mean, she does really have some dramatic stories. I'll give her that. I said she wasn't a good speaker, a good talker. All right, fine. I'll give her one compliment. Good storytelling sometimes. Like the dramaticness of it is unbelievable. Now, I can't validate any of these stories personally for her, but
I served as Attorney General of California 2 terms. I was the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state in the country. And doing that work, it included prosecuting transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I did the work of taking on the big banks during the foreclosure crisis and delivered $20 billion for homeowners who had been targeted with predatory lending practices. I took on the big pharmaceutical companies on behalf of consumers. As Vice President of the United States, my priorities have been many, including, to your point, the work that you and I have done over the years, focusing on women's health. One of my priorities has been maternal mortality. But
Camilla, what about World War III? Aren't we about to enter World War III? And isn't everyone gonna die if that happens? What about the economy? What about the highest inflation in the worst U.S. economy in history? Like, don't you care about the innocent poor people?
I have only had one client in my career, the people. And my belief is that there is great nobility in public service if one understands that they hold the office in the public trust. It is not about personal power. It is about what you can do that lifts up the condition of people. And there is so much about how I think about my responsibility, and I'm here to ask for your vote, is that I intend to be a president for all Americans, understanding that the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And this era that was kind of initiated by Donald Trump.
All right, I do like what you said there. That was a good another talking point. That is some classic liberal vibes. We have more in common with each other than we have that separates us. Everyone is human. That's why I always appreciate every watcher, everyone that takes time to watch my videos. But yeah, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll probably go for, I don't know, we'll just end the stream right now then. Hit the like and subscribe button.